He thought I was just the broke girlfriend he could replace. But when I saw him kissing his boss's daughter in the parking lot, I didn't cry. I called her father and told him everything. 3 months later, I walked down the aisle as his wife. I used to think love was enough, that if you were kind, loyal, and showed up even when it hurt, you'd be rewarded with someone who saw your worth. But then I met Jason, and then I met her. And then I learned that in this world, love doesn't win. Power does. The perfect lie. Jason wasn't rich, but he was charming in that polished, corporate way that made you feel like you were the only person in the room. We met at a coffee shop in downtown Chicago. I was sketching in my notebook. He accidentally spilled his latte on my page. Classic. But it worked. For 2 years, I believed we were building something real. I worked double shifts at a photo studio to pay rent while he climbed the ladder at Vance Capital, a private equity firm run by a reclusive billionaire named Richard Thorne. Jason idolized him, called him the Wolf of Wall Street, but with class. And Richard's daughter? Avery Thorne. I'd seen her once at a company holiday party. Blonde, sculpted cheekbones, wearing a dress that probably cost more than my car. She barely glanced at me, just smiled at Jason like he was hers already. I told myself I was paranoid. Until the night everything shattered. The parking garage. It was a Thursday. Jason said he had a late meeting. But when I dropped off his forgotten tie at Vance Capital, I was nearby shooting a gig. His car was still in the lot. So I waited. At 9:47 p.m., the elevator opened. Out walked Jason and Avery, not his colleagues, not his friends. He had his hand on her waist. She was laughing, tipping her head back like she did in every Instagram photo. Then he kissed her. Not a peck. Not a mistake. A deep, hungry kiss right under the flickering garage light. I stood frozen behind a pillar, my phone already recording. When they drove off in her Tesla, I didn't go home. I went to the only place that made sense. I Googled Richard Thorne, found his private email through a leaked investor list, attached the video, wrote one line, "Your daughter is sleeping with my boyfriend. Ask her about the late meetings." Then I hit send and waited. The invitation. 3 days later, a black town car picked me up outside my apartment. No explanation. Just a note. Mr. Thorne would like to speak with you. Discretion assured. I thought I was being sued, or worse. But when I stepped into his penthouse overlooking Lake Michigan, Richard Thorne wasn't angry. He was intrigued. He poured me tea, asked about my photography, my dreams, my life. Then he said, "Avery has always used men to get what she wants. But Jason? He's been grooming her. For months, telling her I'd cut her off if she didn't secure the future of the company." Lies. All of it. He leaned forward. "You exposed a snake in my house. That takes courage. Or ruthlessness. Which are you?" I didn't flinch. "Both." He smiled. "Good." Then he made me an offer I couldn't refuse. "Marry me," he said. "Not for love. For legacy. I'll give you wealth, security, and a seat at the table. In return, you'll help me dismantle the people who've been bleeding this company dry, including my daughter." I should have said no. But I thought of Jason's smirk, Avery's condescending laugh, the way they both assumed I was invisible. So I said yes. The wedding. The wedding was small, private, on Richard's estate in the Hamptons. No press, no guests except lawyers and a few old friends of his. I wore ivory silk, not a princess gown, but something sharp, elegant, powerful. Richard, in a tailored tux, looked at me like I was the missing piece he never knew he needed. After the ceremony, he handed me a key. "That's to the CEO office at Vance Capital," he said. "Jason's being fired Monday, and you're the new head of corporate strategy." I almost laughed. My ex, the man who called my dreams cute hobbies, was about to report to me. The reckoning. Monday morning, I walked into Vance Capital in a $5,000 suit. Jason was in the conference room pitching to investors. He saw me and froze. "Eleanor? What are you—" "Miss Thorne," I corrected. "And you're fired. Effective immediately." Avery stormed in 10 minutes later, screaming about gold digging and manipulation. Richard appeared behind her. You're cut off, Avery, he said calmly. No trust fund. No apartment. No access to company assets. You chose a liar over your family. Now live with it. She collapsed to her knees, sobbing. I didn't feel joy. I felt peace. Power is the best revenge. It's been a year. Richard and I have a partnership, not a romance, but a deep respect. He calls me his secret weapon. I call him my second chance. Jason, he's working at a car dealership in Ohio. Avery, last I heard she's bartending in Miami. And me? I still take photos. But now, I shoot from the balcony of my penthouse watching the city that once made me feel small. Jason thought I was replaceable. But the woman he betrayed? She became unstoppable.